The Caribbean sun glittering, but in Trinidad and Tobago, the heat isn't from humidity, it's from geopolitical intrigue so sharp it could torch an offshore oil rig. Just yesterday, the government announced that Washington gave them two shiny US licenses, legal cover to engage in oil and gas activities involving Venezuela. In plain language, that's like the man round the corner saying, US, you may play in Venezuela's oil sandbox. Just don't call it stealing. This isn't charity, this is chess. And Trinidad is the pawn that thinks it's a queen. The US Treasury is basically saying, yes, play with Venezuela's oil, but make sure the money doesn't end up where we don't want it. So Trinidad can engage, but must route taxes and royalties through US controlled accounts. Some political satire writers, they saying we must be second guessing who really owns the oil now. Is it Venezuela, the US, or the man who still can't figure out if he left his lunch in the fridge? All you hear now, the dragon has awoken. But who is riding it? There was a dragon gas deal, one that could have delivered trillions of cubic feet of gas from Venezuelan fields in Trinidad's LNG plants. But, like a telenova villain, US politics torpedoed it, revoked license, and left Trinis clutching in their shells. Now suddenly, licenses reappeared like magic. The energy analysts whispering, is this a strategic pivot or the Caribbean version of The Godfather? Energy Edition. Anyways, meanwhile, the US didn't just issue licenses. They invaded Venezuela, detailing its president on drug and weapons charges and proclaiming they'll run the country for the foreseeable future. That's right, the Caribbean just got wrapped up in a drama worthy of Hollywood. Act 1, America invades. Act 2, oil licenses are handed out. Act 3, Trinidad get a piece of the action, but under strict US supervision. Suddenly, Trinidad's biggest challenge isn't energy security, it's checking. Are we guest stars in the US energy reboot? Venezuela's oil reserves are legendary, the biggest on earth. And even if a fraction flows through Trinidad's refineries, the economic surge could be huge. But here's the spicy part. Political Twitter and Facebook in Trinidad are currently exposing with memes like, we traded sovereignty for a license. The US just leased Venezuela's oil for a penny and a napkin. Trinidad is now Caribbean's least likely US energy outpost. Anyways, that's just social media talk. Here's the real joke on the geopolitical theater marquee. Trinidad thought it was buying energy opportunity, but the US handed it a script, and now Trinidad living in it. And people are not just asking, what does this mean for jobs, GDP, LNG? They're asking, who's writing this story and who's getting paid to watch it? Because licensing oil deals, routing royalty through foreign accounts, and talking about regional stability sounds less like sovereignty and more like a Caribbean Team NATO energy sitcom. Trinidad may have licenses, but in this geopolitical drama, the real license is to watch James Bond style politics play out in our own backyard.